Hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Gem, and in today's video, we continue the story of the nightmares. Quick warning, this video contains some dark themes. This is a continuation of the story from my previous video. Check it out in the card or simply enjoy the show. Sachi bolts up and immediately checks on her friends. Light mumbles as Sachi nudges her, and when she goes to check on Quinn, he pulls her into his arms in his sleep. Sachi lies there, shaking, breathing slowly, trying to calm herself down. As she rouses, Light notices that Sachi is coated in cold sweat lying in Quinn's arms. They ask if she's alright, and she just looks back at her, the most scared and vulnerable she's ever seen her. Light asks what happened, and Sachi tells her she had a nightmare. Light is confused as she's aware that no one has had dreams for years. It's about this time that Quinn wakes up, stretching like a cat, when he notices Sachi shaking. He jolts up and looks around, attacking a painting in his blurry sleep state, believing it may be an intruder, before realizing what the actual situation is. Quinn gently lifts Sachi's face and asks what happened while still holding her, and she tells them that she had a nightmare. Quinn kisses her forehead and reassures her that everything is fine. Sachi explains a bit about what happened when Light and Quinn start repeating a phrase. "It should have been you." Light wakes up to find Sachi lying in the middle of the room, which is now filling with fire that seems to be emanating from her. She grabs both of her friends and attempts to pull us out of the window, but Quinn stops her with a hold person spell and begins putting out the fire by summoning ice elementals to clear the room. Sachi, distracted, looks down at herself, at her hands and her clothes, to check if anything is different about them, unsure if she's still dreaming or not. The others check on her, asking her what happened. She doesn't respond. She simply asks, "Am I awake?" Quinn takes her hand and bites it. Yup. Ow. Sachi tries to figure out what's going on, checking for anything that seems out of place, still not responding to the questions of the others. "It should have been you." The sentence Sachi couldn't stop thinking about as she and her friends ate breakfast that morning, though she didn't have much of an appetite. As she was staring blankly at the wall, she hears Quinn, then Light, then Kima, all saying that string of words over and over. She fears she's in a dream again and tries to fly away, but Quinn was holding her arm, and they all tell her that she merely nodded off for a moment. Kima asks what's really going on, and as he does, Quinn casts Detect Thoughts on her, and hears her doubts of reality and her fear, her mind racing with confusion. As he pushes deeper, he hears the string of words, and then asks if he can take her away to talk for a bit. I've got ideas for this conversation in the future, but for now, I'll slot in this second nightmare that she had a few days later. Sachi looked down the hall, but it was different, twisted, extending beyond her view. Doors lined either side, and she felt heat coming from behind her. She faced the heat, following until she found a door with smoke pouring out of the cracks. She heard coughing inside, and when she called out, she heard her father Archie, but he sounded younger? She tried to grab the handle, but it burned her, so she pulled her hand away. He told her to get away from the door, and as she did, it caught fire. She tried to cast a spell, but even after doing all the motions, there was no connection to her magic, so she took off her vest and wrapped it around her hand, using that to grasp the handle and pull the door open. Inside, she saw a room full of fire with Archie, pinned to the ground by Excaliburs through each limb and his chest, completely burned to the bone. She woke up, fully depleted of her magic. Sachi asks Kima to sending Linnell. "Hey Linnell, it's Kima. Sachi has been having nightmares. Just a couple, but she wanted to check if you are okay, along with her parents." Kima tells her the response, just after saying the phrase. Nightmares, huh? What were they about? They were fine the last time I saw them. She asks him to repeat himself, but he doesn't say it again. This phrase now haunts her every moment. This story will continue with the spooky theme over the month of October. Convenient timing, no? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have sweet dreams. If you enjoyed this video, please grant me a like, and if you'd like to see some more of my art, subscribe to join me. That's all for now, so farewell and have a wonderful day.